I'm hoping for the world to end soon, and then we don't have to go to work.
Maybe.
I hope the aliens take over and just enslave us. Because AI is not going to work. What we have now is not even AI. It's fast Google.
Yeah,
We've already lived through a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, this episode was the quacker gives everybody COVID.
Yeah, okay. This is like the most COVID-like episode we have seen of Star Trek ever.
Well, yeah, I kept on getting flashbacks to TNG season 1 when we were doing this podcast because remember how many times during season 1, because it was during COVID, we kept on thinking, why aren't you quarantined? Why aren't you doing anything with PPE?
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing anything?
But you know what they did here? They quarantined people, but they didn't wear masks.
Yeah, that's the one thing they didn't do that we did. Which is like
no protective anything. They're just out in the open air. It's like, oh, it's airborne, by the way.
Look,
okay, we're just all infected. It doesn't matter.
I don't want to like critique the doctor, guys, Baltar.
Yeah.
But if it was Roman Polanski, the doctor, they would have quarantined like a bubble, you know? Bubble babies. Everyone has a bubble.
Yeah, they would have all had like HEV suits on and you know, just been separated from
I mean, I was definitely getting PTSD from watching this episode.
Quarantine. And like the thing that struck me the most visually, the thing that struck me the most visually as matching actual COVID events is the promenade was deserted. And like people stayed indoors in their quarters. And I was like,
but wait, wasn't that because the transporter? I'm sorry, not the transporter. The replicator was broken and they couldn't serve anything. So that's why
both times.
Later in the episode when
when Odo comes to Quark and it's like, all right, everyone's sick now. So if anything disappears, I know it's you for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was very similar, right? To like everything being deserted.
Well, similar to like places that kind of follow the rules and stuff.
Like Odo was the only like Instacart guy in the promenade.
And they even made a reference.
Picking
they
up
said
all of the random shit left on the shelves.
They even made a reference. They said essential business.
Yeah.
Like, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, essential business.
Essential services stay open. And Odo or Quark's bar is considered an essential service. So
from now on, I'm just going to call it a saloon because that's what it is.
Were bars considered essential businesses during quarantine? Do you guys remember? I think they were.
Yeah.
I think they were like, no, people still need a drink.
It's technically like a restaurant. And I think that's why.
I think if you just served food or drink, you just were considered essential.
I mean, fucking GameStop tried to get themselves classified as essential service. So if GameStop could,
they were advising their employees to resist police and to claim that they were an essential business.
God.
GameStop employees are definitely paid well enough to fight back against the police.
Oh my gosh.
Well, before we get started proper, I just want to make an open announcement. FugitiveFrames.store, our merch store. That's the URL, by the way. FugitiveFrames.store. It's finally like kind of officially open. The YouTube integration keeps breaking. So don't worry about that. Just go to FugitiveFrames.store, the URL. And we have 2 shirts up there very specifically. One is all of the very accurate names we've come up for characters.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, just 4 of them.
Which ones are they? Which ones are the
percentage of the random ass names we've given everything.
Yeah, it's Luke Picard, Galen, Yara, and Tim.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny because one of the messages we received today, this will probably date the episode, and they're like,
God.
She selected Tim. Guys, she selected Tim as her running mate. And we were like,
oh, shit, dude.
So that was pretty funny.
You know what? This deserves a Ding Kane fucking.
And the other is just the question Denise Crosby asks Ricardo every episode. So.
Right.
So yeah.
I have an announcement too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want to say fuck you to Ticketmaster, dude. Those fucking assholes, dude.
Always fuck you to Ticket. If they haven't done anything specifically.
No. They did something specific.
There should always be a fuck you on Ticketmaster.
Did you get a random letter in the mail? I got a letter in the mail.
Here's the thing, dude. If you're gonna charge me to fucking finger me, dude, with your fucking fees, dude, your fees are insane, dude. I'm getting 3 fingers in the butthole and not even like spitting on them, dude.
No,
if you're gonna do that to
fingers.
If you're gonna do it to me, and then you're gonna leak my data, at least, fuck, dude, don't leak my shit, dude.
Yeah.
So now, not only are they fucking us, they're fucking us twice, dude. They're leaking our information. They should be licking our information, but no, They're leaking it, and then they charge us, dude, for all those fees. How about you use the fees to get better fucking cybersecurity? You pieces of shit, dude. Anyway,
I got that letter too in the mail, and it said like, "Hey, your information's been
watch your
leaked.
credit."
Sorry." Yeah, what should you do? Just watch your stuff just to see. And good luck with that.
Just look out when anyone loves you.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking
Ticketmaster.
If I see Mr. Tim fucking Ticketmaster, I want to punch him in the face, dude. Who's in charge of that?
Don't
company?
besmirch Tim's with Ticketmaster. Fuck Ticketmaster. They're, I don't know.
They're on my shit list, dude.
They were always on your shit list. It's
Love
Ticketmaster. Like the people who are trying to make a monopoly out of buying tickets for concerts.
Okay, I'm gonna confess something while this is going, dude.
Okay, all right.
I let my son watch Death Note, the anime,
That's fine.
and now he says I'm gonna put him on my.
Oh, now I'm flashing back to the picture you made.
we were watching the news, and like something came up, something political, and then he just whispered it. No one heard it, but I heard it. He said, "I would put that guy in Death Note." And I'm like, dude, get me in trouble, dude.
Yo, I've been saying that shit for years.
Oh yeah,
I know, but-
Ever since I knew Death Note existed, I was like, the Death Note could be the solution to all of life's problems.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I'm trying to teach him a lesson, like hey, like all this power corrupts and blah blah blah. But he's like, no, I would still use it before I got rid of it.
You just remind me of a conversation Barbara and I had once where we were talking about the Death Note, and we said that the Death Note was one of the ways to be a solution for all of humanity's or society's problems. And Marvin posed that the other potential solution was the empathy gun from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Empathy, yes.
Yes.
And then I proposed that we should just combine them to make a death gun, so that when you shoot anyone that you want to die, they die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the world we live in currently.
I think that exists.
Yeah. The death gun.
Fuck.
What about the empathy note? You can
Empathy
make some.
note? Yes, I like that.
You can remotely
yeah.
make someone feel the way you're feeling.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that.
awesome.
I like that.
And nice for society.
You would just write in world, right?
Yeah.
Everyone in the world.
Yeah,
It's funny because
Now just go through the phone book and start writing every name.
Yeah.
Start with A,
Yeah.
gorilla, and work
but
from there.
if it's a phone book, half the people in that phone book are dead now because
And then they'll finally feel what it's like to be alive again. Soon enough.
hell yeah.
Well, if you guys couldn't glean from our opening conversation, we just watched Babel this week.
There's a lot of Babel.
With Brad Pitt,
Yeah, exactly.
very interesting movie. With Rinko Kikuchi,
Exactly.
right? Is that her name? Did I get it right?
Yeah,
What?
that's how you pronounce that.
What?
Dan got it.
What?
Is that not what her name is?
Who? I don't know.
That's exactly what her name is.
Say it again.
Babel. Rinko Kikuchi.
Yep.
Rinko?
Ringo
What?
Kikuchi?
Rinko Kikuchi. Am I close?
I don't know
Am I
who
close?
that is. Who is that?
I don't know.
Who's Ringo
I-
Kikuchi?
I'm confused as well.
Ringo Kikuchi? Is that in this?
I don't know.
Rinko Kikuchi.
Are they related to Munchmakuchi?
Munchin Makuchi.
Is that really an actress's name?
Yes, it's the name of the actress. Rinko Kikuchi.
Oh,
Okay,
not
okay.
Munchin. Kuchi or whatever.
That's a Stephen Colbert joke that I stole.
And it really needs the build up for it to actually be funny.
It really needs Stephen Colbert corpsing because it's like he's just completely unable
What are
to.
some of the other weird names that people use to? What is it? Oh my god! Hold on. There's a couple.
Well, there's an entire genre of joke all about this, Sarah.
Oh.
We would be here for hours if we started to try to list them all.
What's another one? There's got to be
Amanda
another
hug and kiss. Anita Beth.
Yeah.
one. Amanda.
Ligma balls.
Homosexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ligma balls. You know, all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I don't know why I find this so
Wait,
funny.
Kate
at this
Blanchett is in this
moment.
movie?
What?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I
looking
believe-
at the cast of Babel.
Yeah, I think I remember her. Yeah. She's like secretly in everything.
She is.
Oh my god.
You know what?
She's in fucking Borderlands. Why would you?
Wait, Kate Blanchett's in Borderlands?
I thought she's in the Borderlands movie.
She is in Borderlands.
Yeah.
Oh,
because she was in Eli Roth's last movie or 2 movies ago. The clock with the house and the holes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
whatever that is.
Guys, but seriously, this show. Okay, what episode are we in? How many episodes are we in?
This is technically number 5.
Yeah, the 5th episode.
Oh shit!
Like, so technically we've had a filler, but none of them have felt like fillers.
Yeah, I think this is the closest one to feeling like a filler.
Yeah, this one felt like a bespoke episode that isn't like part of a serialized story.
Yeah, and it wasn't like as strongly character driven, I guess.
Yeah.
Compared, like A Man Alone, very character driven. Like it's all about how the characters react to the situation.
Take it all the way.
And what was it? The one before, Past Prologue is all about Kira. You know, it's all about
this. Let me ask you a question real quick on this episode. You think if they at all had gotten the McGregor syndrome thing that was going around?
You love McGregor syndrome.
Everything is McGregor.
Can you explain that? What is
I don't even know what McGregor syndrome is.
When COVID hit, it was.
Yeah,
you
called everything McGregor. Yeah, it's from Batman and Robin. It's the weird disease that
Alfred gets.
Alfred gets, and Mr. Freeze's wife was dying from.
Oh,
but Mr. Freeze cured level 1 McGregor syndrome, but not level 2.
His wife had 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so she still became an MMA fighter anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But Alfred got saved because he only had level 1.
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, it turns out Mr. Freeze held the cure for it inside his suit the whole time in 2 vials, and was like, "Take 2 and call me in the morning."
So. That's probably the best Batman that we've gotten, dude. To be honest.
No one would argue with you.
You can't say that with
no one would argue with you.
Dude. Because it's the only one that has real nipples.
Remember when I put in my 2 weeks for my last job, right? Yeah. When I was working with you, and I just had complete senioritis. I was like, I don't need to work anymore. I put in my 2 weeks. We just started watching movies in the hallway.
Well, we started watching movies during lunch. So what everybody agreed on was hey, well, it was about the same time where we just didn't give a fuck anymore about the job. And so we were like, we'll just start watching movies in the hallway because they moved us floors and we
were in between floors,
common space.
Yeah, because
that had nice couches and a big TV.
Yeah,
and a Blu-ray player. And so we're like, oh no, someone lent us an Xbox so we could stream stuff through.
Yes, because that was back when one of the teams was doing game commercials. Yeah, so they had Xbox.
So someone lent us their Xbox and we're like, oh, let's start streaming movies. So every day, within 2 days, 2 lunches, because we had an hour lunch, we can get through a movie, right? So we started watching Bleeding Edge, I think it was called.
Bleeding Steel. That's the Jackie Chan movie.
And one of the ones that we watched was
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, yeah.
But we couldn't finish it.
And then one of our female coworkers was like, I have no, you guys can watch whatever you guys want. So we started watching the Sidaris movies, which are
oh yeah. Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And,
they got a lot of sexual content.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Hard Ticket to Hawaii so many times, dude.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii has a scene where a guy on a skateboard, but riding the skateboard on his hands.
Yeah.
Upside down, so handstanding
blown
on the
up
skateboard.
by a bazooka.
Well, you're missing the important detail of him holding a blow-up doll. As he's doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's a crazy it was a crazy time in our lives.
And there's a point where there's snakes infected by cancer-infested rats.
Yeah. So they're chasing those things down. All right, so. This is episode, you said 4 or 5?
It's the 5th episode.
And really, there's no filler. I love it. I just want to point that out that we even the episodes that should be sucking are not really sucking so far.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't mean to be talking shit about the other show, TNT, but, but my question was, do you think if everyone had gotten McGregor syndrome, we went a long way to get back to McGregor syndrome. But do you think if everybody had gotten it, eventually they would have figured out the Babel language, and then they would have just...
No, it's not a language, so it's completely incomprehensible to everyone.
So each person
has their own
Babel.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Because they said the virus made
I
it completely
see.
random. It's
Yeah,
not
the virus
like
doesn't make you speak a simple, like a particular language.
Well, you've seen those people like on Inside Edition where they're like, this person got hit in the head and now they have a British accent.
yes,
And it's
yeah.
like, hello,
Yeah, they
somebody
speak
from the
German.
South. And it's like,
Yeah.
hello, yeah, mum. And it's like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did this happen?
They just like woke up one day.
or
and
like
they-
I got hit in the head, and
Yeah.
now like I remember the weather from every day. You know,
Yeah,
like you know,
yeah,
things
That's
like
so
that.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I love stories like that.
yeah.
But
Never-
this episode Babel
Yeah.
first aired on January 24th of 1993. Dan, let us go around the sun. Even though
Let's go.
people have pointed out,
yeah,
that-
we're not really going around the sun when we're confined to DS9. There's
and
not much
also
opportunity
around
to do
this
any of
going
that.
around the sun is more of a TOS thing. So we were doing
Yeah.
this wrong from the beginning. You know,
I mean, we did start off saying this was Trek after all, but it feels like it's getting less appropriate as time goes on.
Yeah. This space station's going nowhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The air date was the 24th of January, and at the time, Disney's Aladdin reclaimed the #1 spot at the box office in its 7th week of release. And I actually kind of missed this tidbit that it didn't actually top the box office at all until its 5th week of release, back around when DS9 premiered, because Home Alone 2 and A Few Good Men were very stiff competition.
okay.
So, on the 20th, a few days before that, Maya Angelou recited a poem at Bill Clinton's presidential inauguration, the first poet to do so since Robert Frost back in '61.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 days after that, that year's U.S. Female Figure Skating Championship was won by none other than Nancy Kerrigan. So, we were smack dab in the 90s, baby.
Wait, Nancy Kerrigan was the one that was eventually sabotaged?
Yes.
Okay, that's what happened. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this was her like rise to prominence in this figure skating scene before the Olympics, I believe.
Who was Nancy?
Nancy Kerrigan?
Yeah.
The one who was assaulted by a crowbar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
a pretty
Yeah.
one.
Or a pipe or whatever. Whatever it happened to be.
Yeah. I don't mean to insult the other girl, but
I was about to say, I was
Yeah,
like,
this was a lot more good looking.
it's kind of
All right, I want to point something out. The #1 movie. Look, hey, I'm just being honest, dude. Just like Trump. I say it like I call it. I call it like I see it.
Sure.
The domestic box office in 1993. Guess what the #1 movie was of the whole month of January?
Okay.
#1 movie. Cannibal
good-
movie.
Cannibal movie?
Cannibal movie.
Yeah.
What is that?
Alive. The Andy Survivors movie, Alive, where they have to eat humans.
Really?
Oh, right.
Yeah, they eat people's butts, like literally.
Huh. Okay.
Delicious.
And surprisingly, it was a fucking Walt Disney movie.
Wait, so it's not even like a one of their side.
I think it was Touchstone Pictures, but
Okay,
they're
yeah.
classifying it
Okay, yeah, as long
Walt
as it's
Disney.
Touchstone.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
Disney brand for a long time
Yeah.
did not. I think the first time I remember in mainstream Disney was willing to put the Disney label on a movie that may not be entirely family friendly was National Treasure.
Dude, I think this is Disney, dude.
It's actually
I'm sure.
Disney?
I think so.
So Alive, the movie.
No, it's
Alive?
Touchstone and Paramount and the Kennedy Marshall Company.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Whereas like National
makes sense.
Treasure actually put like the Disney or National.
Yeah.
Oh, is it National Treasure? Am I crazy? No,
What?
yeah, it is National Treasure. Yes,
Yeah.
National
Yeah,
Treasure.
National Treasure's Disney.
Yeah, they actually put the production company as Walt Disney Pictures on it. So
Yeah.
so they were willing to do that, even though it was still distributed by a different.
That's a good
thing.
movie, by the way. Alive. It's a good movie, but they made a better one just recently.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing Alive on TV.
Yeah.
I remember.
I only know it via The Simpsons, but from that voiceover. But
You know what's-
thanks to the plane,
Yeah.
We
You know
are
what's
still
crazy is that
alive.
that they do this thing where if I'm not, let me just look at the fucking at the cast.
Mhm,
If I'm remembering this correctly,
mhm.
is that the movie has weirdly it mixes like The Office, where it's like interviews with the movie. You mean like
Mhm.
and they mix real interviews with fake interviews.
Oh yeah, that's like Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
where
and
they-
one of
yeah.
the people that's the fake interview is John Malkovich.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh that's like Pirates of Silicon Valley, where the movie would literally stop down so they could explain the historical context of what's happening, and they're like,
Oh really?
So here's I know he's talking about DOS. So what the hell is DOS?
Wait, so they just stopped the movie to give you context? Like a Kojima
also,
game?
Yeah, like a Kojima game. But also to kind of explain, there's a scene where Bill Gates is pitching DOS to some guy. And then it stops down and he goes, so actually Bill Gates had never made, DOS is a complete lie. He never made it at that point. So he was just talking out of his ass here. He hadn't even made it yet.
What a dick.
So he kind of like magically made it afterward when he finally had enough time and finally provided it. But yeah, he was just completely making shit up at that point. But oh my God, I forgot Pirates of Silicon Valley starred Anthony Michael Hall as Bill Gates. So very weird.
Well, I had nothing more.
Oh, okay, great. Well, in that case, let's do our sponsors really quick. And this week, I actually want to start with Extra, because Extra just came out with their new Card Holder Pro wallet, which is crazy. So the Pro wallet is like the original aluminum card holder, but now they made a bunch of improvements. Remember how we were talking about with the copper card holder, like the limited edition copper one?
Mm-hmm.
The button was metal. Mm-hmm. Now all buttons are metal. So in general, it's a metal button, which I think is great because that metal button has added a lot of durability to it.
Yeah.
And you can now customize the wallet a lot. You can put in a money clip on it. You can put in a coin holder on it. You can put an Apple Find Me card on it. There's all sorts of different customizations.
What's a little button, the Apple one?
Oh,
which is why it's so cool now that they because they have their own tracker.
Yeah.
But now they're letting you bring your own Apple, if you're like an Apple fanboy. Like
and I like that tracker, the Apple tracker, Find My Network is honestly a lot better.
Yeah, it's like Apple's like really good.
Yeah. That's, you know what? You did a good job, Apple. With
you know what? I'm gonna take it, Marvin. That feels good. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take a W on that one.
But also, it has a lot of the original features that made it really popular, which is a quick access button, now made of metal, and it can hold up to 14 credit cards. Who needs that many credit cards? But hey, you can hold up to 14 if you want to.
Yeah.
And it's still made from 100% recycled aluminum, which keeps making it a sustainable choice. So if you want to check out the Card Holder Pro, you can just head on over to ekster.com. That's ekster.com and check out whatever products you want. And when you check out on your shopping cart, use offer code Newbie, N-E-W-B-I-E, and that gives you an additional discount on any order site-wide. So I've gotten more clarity on what the discount is. It's even with any ongoing sales, it'll add an additional 5%. So that's what it is. But if there are no sales going on, I believe the discount is larger. So that's sort of the way it scales. So there will always be a discount of at least an additional 5% if you use the offer code. So again, you can head on over to ekster.com and use our offer code Newbie, at least an additional 5% off any order site-wide, and still free shipping, 2-year warranty on every product, and free returns within 100 days of receiving your order. So pretty good. All that's pretty good. It's also pretty good, ExpressVPN. So this has been probably our longest sponsor, and there's a good reason for that. We had already been using ExpressVPN ourselves.
The reason is that they don't wince when we fucking do the reads.
Well, to Extra's credit, they also have not made a big deal out of the dick skin and all that other stuff. So
in fact, we probably we probably give more offense to Extra on a regular basis than ExpressVPN.
Yeah. The closest we offended ExpressVPN is talking about turkeys. Because
we do talk a lot about porn.
Yeah, we do, but that's what ExpressVPN's actually.
They know that's what that's for, though.
Yeah.
They know that's what
literally
that's
for. Like
they know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys generally know what a VPN is, but the reason ExpressVPN stands out is that they have had a very good security history. It's impossible for any company over an infinite period of time to have a perfect security record, but ExpressVPN so far has had no blemishes. And as the name suggests, they're still super fast. Depending on your location, you can have up to 10 gigabits of speed, which is very fast. And they have access to servers all over the world, 3,000 plus servers in 160 locations spanning 105 countries. It also works on pretty much every device you can think of. If you have a device, there is an app for it. And
Martin, I'm going to just interrupt you there. If you need ExpressVPN and you're running, your traffic is more than 10 gigs, you're doing something shady. There's no reason a legitimate business should be running ExpressVPN and going over 10 gigs. I'm just going to say that. So you're going to be safe, dude. Wow, how much porn are you downloading, Marvin? How much porn are you
if
downloading?
you just watch YouTube video at a high enough quality for long enough, you rack it up.
You think so?
Well, that's
At this
not
point, you do.
bandwidth. That's just the amount of data. 10 gigabit is like
We're talking about actual rate of transfer. Never
10
mind.
10 gigabit
rate
per
of
second?
transfer. Yeah, 10 gigabit. You're downloading literally a gigabyte a second.
Yeah.
So that is a lot. That's really, really fast.
That's a lot. That's like virtual reality porn.
And that's honestly faster than most computers are actually equipped to handle.
Yeah.
10
Yeah,
gigabit.
in that case, I'm completely behind Ricardo. That's shady shit.
Yeah, see?
Once you're moving data at that capacity or at that speed, that's shady.
Yeah,
Well-
you're laundering some money or something.
Well, if you want to download all of Pornhub
You're Elon
in
Musk.
like a day using ExpressVPN, you can head on over to ExpressVPN.
You wouldn't
Use our
download a
code.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If you want to download all the Bitcoin, head on over to expressvpn.com/newbie Star Trek. And if you sign up for 12 months, they're going to give you an extra 3 months
For free.
which
For
makes
free.
the entire thing 49% off, which is a really good deal. I was told ExpressVPN is also eventually going to offer a 2-year package plan,
Oh,
which will
shit.
be an even bigger savings, but that's still in beta. They're still figuring it out. So well, I think because they're trying to roll it out to see like how people feel about it. And I think, whatever.
We have to make sure that this discount doesn't explode our company.
Hey, with modern IT these
Yeah,
days,
for real.
you never
Yeah,
know.
you can never be too careful.
The
It's
fucking
like a CrowdStrike.
Yeah, I was about to say CrowdStrike was one bad line.
Yeah, and then
Knocked-
they offered like a 2-year package deal,
Yeah,
and then fuck,
and then also
they didn't take it properly through an extensive beta process.
I know. I mean, they're making sure it's good, and ExpressVPN's not going to insult your intelligence by giving you a $10 Uber Eats card as an excuse, an apology. One of the weird solutions for CrowdStrike was restarting your computer, I think 15 times.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then that would fix it for some reason.
You'll grab a hammer and hit the computer twice, but imagine you're hitting like a hard-boiled egg. You don't want to hit too hard.
Yeah, you're tapping it. You're doing a little tap.
Give it a tap.
Oh, that reminds me.
Tap,
Remember that tower that I had freshman year, Marvin, where I would actually need to whack it with my fist?
Oh yeah,
to get
mine
it to
too.
work?
Mine too.
Wait, what?
So Dan and I, we both had PCs that for some reason kicking it would make it work.
Oh
And
my god.
At least for me, I eventually learned why. It's because my water cooling was dying. So kicking it
Oh, yeah,
turned
that's
the
right.
water pump back on. So
For me, I think it was just a way to like get my power supply like back up and running. Usually after I had moved it from location to location, if I had to
Yeah.
reconnect all my shit, like disconnect and reconnect all my shit, it usually didn't turn on until I give it a good whack.
yeah, it was
That's
very.
silly.
That's more inexplicable. That's like I'm not sure why your computer needs to be
That's
kicked.
so silly.
But my computer, I'd be like, I would literally kick it as hard as I can.
What?
Yeah, and then it would finally start up.
Not
That's
as hard as you
crazy.
can.
That's
No,
insane. That might
There were,
destroy it.
no, there were some days where I
What?
was so frustrated that as hard as I can with my foot against a metal thing without hurting
like
myself.
a barefoot or
Yeah,
or
barefoot. Yeah, but that's still really hard.
Yes, sir. He would hire a bear to bring its foot over
barefoot.
and kicks. Yeah,
Bear
yeah,
cub foot.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't. Well,
Yeah.
I
Second
don't
Amendment.
like that you would hit
yeah.
it with your foot. That's weird.
Well, because I'm kicking it. You kick with feet.
Well, now the computer's dirty
I
though.
don't like feet.
Put a shoe on, dude.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
I'll
no,
tell you what,
Marvin
dude.
loves having his feet out. Let me tell you.
What were we talking about?
So
ExpressVPN.
weird.
So
ExpressVPN?
let's just
we got to feet
let's just wrap
now.
them up really quick. So
Yeah.
if you guys
Ricardo's favorite
just
subject.
head on over to expressvpn.com/newbie Star Trek, and if you sign up for 12 months, they'll give you 3 months for free. And you know what? You can use it up to 8 devices. It's got an ad blocker built in. It's got a password manager built in. It's got all these nice features. So check it out, guys. There you
Check
go.
it out.
Get one account and then share it with your family.
No, that's what it's for. Yeah. They're not even hiding that fact. They're like, you should do that. Yeah.
They're not like fucking Netflix, those pieces of shit over there, dude.
God, yeah.
Yeah, ExpressVPN's like,
Fuck them.
please share it.
Yeah.
You know.
Tim fucking Netflix, he's a piece of shit too, dude.
Yeah.
I got something to say to him.
And
dude.
if you want to like just force your whole household to use it, you can literally set up your router to just use ExpressVPN.
You know what? In fact, I heard a little birdie say that a little tweet say that allegedly, if you put on the ExpressVPN, turn on Netflix, you could geo hop.
Oh yeah,
all over the world, dude.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So
well, does Denise Crosby geo hop? You think?
Ricardo.
Oh yeah.
Could you please tell us what happened in this episode?
I can. So one thing I don't like about this episode, look, we're giving a lot of praise, but one thing I don't like is that you never really found out why.
Yeah.
So many things were going wrong, and like, why does I was going to call him Conor McGregor?
Oh my God.
Miles O'Brien.
Miles O'Brien was.
He probably fights better than Conor McGregor.
He would just be kicking everything, kicking the fucking replicator. Why did Miles O'Brien? Why doesn't he have like a helper or a friend, like
we're
a buddy?
We're in startup mode here.
I know. Yeah, like. Also, why are so many things going wrong?
Yeah.
So part of it is that it's because it was a Cardassian mining station. So it was built kind of like just to be barely functional. So all of like the amenities are kind of like nice to haves that they never prioritized. So that's kind of why. And it's also like when the Cardassians left, they alluded to this in the first episode, they intentionally trashed the place to make it like
kind of like the Kardashians. When they show up places.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still okay. I'll accept that answer.
The other issue is that a lot of Miles's fixes, at least right now, are hot fixes because he doesn't like fully. He's never like worked that intimately with Cardassian technology before. So he's kind of just being like, I guess this will fix this for now. Yeah. And then, like...
You know what's so interesting, though, is like thinking about his career change and trajectory, where it's like the transporter, his job on TNG in the transporter room felt so easy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To like this
He
job.
He fucked up, dude.
I'm like, you made the wrong decision and you brought your whole family here. And like, you really fucked up, bro. Like...
I mean, to be fair, what they originally thought was that the space station was just going to stay around Bajor, right? And just exist and not really do that much other than be kind of like a commerce hub. That all changed when they found the wormhole.
The wormhole.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the wormhole kind of changed the entire trajectory of how intense this operation was going to be. Because before, I think the idea was that it might be kind of a cushy job. Like he gets a promotion as chief of operations,
right?
And he does have a lot more responsibilities, but it's for like a space station that isn't like a huge deal. You know, it's like so.
But then we kind of touched on this on the last episode. Like, what the fuck does a promotion mean in this world? Like, I guess
you just feel better.
Like, do people make salaries here, or like, is money a thing? Do you get more stuff?
Well, yeah, we talked about this in TNG.
Like, is it just decorated? Like, or you just get more titles?
So to make more, like so you have a basic universal income, right? But
is that what they have?
I think we talked about this, how like you could have more money to buy extra things that you want, or like
I think that's his theory, but I don't know if it's like 100% confirmed.
Yeah, I think that was just a proposal or a hypothetical as opposed to how it actually is.
I would not be doing anything. I'd be on a beach, dude.
Yeah. Maybe titles. Maybe titles are the new kind of currency, and you're just more decorated and
I think that's
more bling.
I think that was sort of part of at least Gene Roddenberry's like sort of vision, was that like people do work based on things they're passionate in, and some people might be passionate just about being like in Starfleet and like progressing.
Because why works this hard? Why work this hard? He's working so hard. He's by himself. He's running around. He's got his whole family. Yeah. His little daughter. It's like I'm just like, why?
But I do agree with Ricardo's point of why is he have a team? Why?
He does talk to like some fellow engineers in ops, like they're working on something. It just tells them like try this other way or something.
Yeah,
but there's clearly way more to do.
Yeah.
He's understaffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't show him delegating much at all.
Yeah.
He's not a good delegator. So the episode opens up and there's people stuck, dude, and they look like they're gonna die.
Yeah. They're stuck in the air.
And this character actor that is playing one of the alien creatures. He's the dude. He's the dude from The Big Lebowski. He's a landlord. The guy that plays
wow.
Jahil?
The guy who keeps wanting to leave.
The guy that keeps trying to leave. Yeah.
So he plays
because his cabbages
Lebowski's landlord. Remember, he goes, hey, I have a recital on Wednesday. And he's like, all right, all right, I'll be there. And he's like, hey,
okay.
Also the rent's due. And and he's that guy, and he's a character. You've seen him in everything. This guy.
But what's his name?
Jack Kaler, and it's one of those voices that I heard it, and I'm like, I know exactly who this guy is. He was in Men in Black 2. He was in a lot of Barry Sonnenfeld movies. He was in Get Shorty. I think he was. He's just one of those character actors in it that's in everything. But anyway,
he was in The Man in the High Castle. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Another actor that I immediately recognized was one of the nurses that treats Cisco's son. It's Nurse Jabara, and she plays not Tori Spelling, the other girl, and I know someone knows she plays a mom. She plays Kelly's mom, whatever the actress is, but. Anyway. Oh,
okay. Yeah, it says best known for her recurring role as Jackie Taylor in Beverly Hills 90210.
Yep.
Okay.
She was Kelly Taylor's mom. So
all right.
And anyway, I recognize her right away. And so he's trying to get these people unstuck, and this fucking dude's like, I need to get out of here. So he's like, fuck off, and I'll get to you when I get to you. So there's a lot of things going wrong with this fucking ship, and he should have
replicators are broken.
Yeah, and everything's going wrong.
Yeah,
and he's really overwhelmed. And even Cisco's like, hey, the replicator's not giving me coffee the correct way, and he's like,
Cisco comes off as a not very considerate boss in this episode.
He comes off as a dick with the coffee move. I was like, bro, what?
He comes off as if he doesn't understand that he's busy. Like,
at the end, it just has like this sitcom style.
I know it's like
Brian.
Dan or Sarah and I were joking that
we should make a short out of that.
Yeah, it should have ended with O'Brien shrugging and ending on a freeze frame and credits rolling as like comedy music or sitcom music plays. You know?
It has such a sitcom weird ending. Yeah. O'Brien, my coffee's not right. What did you do? He needs to like comically spit it out or something.
Yeah.
That's my O'Brien.
And so he's going around and he's kind of fixing all the replicators, and he fixes one of the replicators that's like no one really uses. And it's in one of the crew quarters that no one uses.
Well, it's like on a floor, and it happens to be like in a room that one of them happens to
Although
be
this is one of the things that I found inexplicable about one of the premises is that Quark is doing poorly because the replicators aren't working, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
But Quark's bar does like a billion things.
Yeah.
Like at a casino, would people stop going to the casino because the chicken wings are bad or are good? Like, you know, like
how do you think strip clubs stay in business, dude?
But this is not
it's a food, bro. It's a food. It's a buffet.
But this is essentially a casino, though. You know,
it's the chicken wings.
It's the chicken wings that keep people coming at the titties, dude.
They come for the breasts, not the breasts.
Yeah, dude. They come to eat the breasts, not look at them.
Not look at the breasts. Okay.
So he makes so we later find out that he triggered it by fixing this thing, and he takes a cup of coffee and he sips it, and he's the first one to get infected by the
he's
COVID.
Patient Zero,
space COVID. Yeah, and so.
So it's the cough. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
when the test drive of the coffee is what infects him.
Yeah. The replicator.
But then
puts it
doesn't
into the
Cisco
food.
have coffee like pretty early on too?
No, that's in a different replicator. It's only one replicator that's
non-fixed one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It starts infecting after it gets fixed.
Okay. But then it turns airborne. I don't know. Whatever. There's all sorts of questions about this fucking virus thing.
What do you mean questions? What are your questions?
Well, it went airborne, but then there's like
it mutated.
Yeah, but then I felt like
it was a convenient mutation.
The time length it took people to get infected was a little confusing. Like Cisco didn't get infected until pretty much the end.
Well, I think that's also kind of representative of how
same with Kira.
Viruses work in real life, though.
Yeah, it just works on a really expedient.
I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like certain people are less or more resistant to COVID than others.
But Cisco was like all up on his son and like hugging and kissing him and stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
is that
there's no attempt. It's just assume you're just going to exhibit symptoms at some point.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to prevent infection.
I mean, I guess essentially they're all in their little COVID bubble here, right?
But the problem is, as soon as they were like, okay, well, this is a problem, let's quarantine, right? But if then they're like, well, it's airborne, so it's everywhere, then there's no more quarantine needed.
They meant quarantine from the rest of space. Like I thought that's what they felt like. You
but they were still, but they still had a separate quarantine area for people who are sick.
Yeah, at that point it was like, fuck it. Whatever.
And there were people who were like still told to stay indoors because they're sick. And it's like,
I mean, but I attribute that to like, remember during COVID when we were all like, washing our oranges with like soap and like, taking things out of takeout boxes and microwaving them, thinking it'll kill. Like there was a lot of weird shit we all did.
Well, yeah, but that was because of a lack of information.
I feel like they're not sure either.
Maybe, but it's more like once they got more information.
Well, it feels like if they're not sure, they should be doing more than what they're doing.
Exactly, that's the other thing.
What was the weirdest thing that you guys did during COVID? Like when misinformation was rampant.
Started this podcast.
That's not wrong.
I injected bleach into myself because that's what Trump told me to do. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to think I think the weirdest thing was probably like wiping down boxes and like, I don't know, like takeout boxes, like microwaving things out of takeout boxes. Like that wasn't how it spread. And it just felt like, now that I think back to it, I'm like, what were we doing? Like what?
Well, we didn't know. We thought it good.
I've said this before. Not a lot of our habits changed. Like, look, our apartment might be dirty and fucking messy as shit, but we have a little OCD over here and we wash our hands a lot. And certain family members that are not in this household don't wash their hands enough, and they get hand, foot, and mouth disease a lot, but not us. But anyway, so not our habits didn't really change because we were just like fucking washing our hands.
You were just perfect from the start.
Well, no, we have a problem. We had a problem from the beginning. Even now, I'm obsessive about like the controller being fucking sticky. My keyboard, I have towels. Like I have like microfiber towels and the spray right next to me, right?
Yes,
because
I did see that.
It bugs me that
when I came
things
over.
are sticky.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Dan, was there anything weird that you guys did or your family did?
I mean, nothing more than what everyone else was doing. Is just using more wipes, using more sprays, wearing masks. It was what everyone was doing.
Yeah.
I
think one of my friends, one of the things he did that he thinks is silly now is that he wore masks in the car when driving around.
By himself?
Yeah, by himself. Because he thought like, I mean, like, if I turn the AC on, it's putting in air from outside. So, I mean, I should still wear a mask.
Okay.
Well, people were...
to be honest, we were wearing masks. I would remember we would go on walks outside.
And we
were wearing masks, we're literally in a park with no one around us, and we were wearing masks. You know?
Pre-vaccine world, things were scary enough to do that sort of shit. Remember? People were actually dying.
And also, we didn't know, there hadn't been enough tests done to know how does this spread even outdoors, right?
Yeah.
So like we know that's safer, but we don't know how much because shit like bird flu, for example, can spread that way. Yeah. Still,
or your animals.
Well, like avian flu, that's how it didn't jump, right? Like that's the thing what's cool with this episode is that like it just they speed up the process, but that's the way a virus works. Like it's like something you maybe ingest at first, and maybe it turns into something you have to touch, and then eventually it turns into something you breathe in. So like that's just the cycle of it, and I do like that they go through all of it.
Even in the context of the episode, the acceleration of it might be because it's a completely synthetic virus. Like
yes,
it was like,
and it was made to it was made to cause damage. It wasn't made to like, oh, we're experimenting and it got out of hand. No, it was like, oh, this was made to kind of cause damage and stuff.
What's crazy about it is just like since the pandemic, the fact that like since we all lived through that and went through it, it's like most of us now have this understanding of how these viruses work and like precautions and quarantine and what we should do and PPE. Like I think it's just so nuts to me that we all went through that.
I don't think we all went. I don't think
a lot of people do. Like I didn't know what PPE was.
No,
before,
I'm just saying like that.
You know,
you're part of the very few.
I think most people like understand more about viruses
In the regular world,
like it's
I think people are very dumb, and
I feel
especially
like
in this
they're
country.
a little less dumb about viruses and stuff like that. I don't know.
Sarah.
I just think
Again,
it's interesting. Like
once
we've
again,
all
Sarah
lived through
giving
this pandemic.
humanity more credit than it deserves. We're very stupid.
Like, you know, I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know. Looking back that we've been through the pandemic and then to watch this episode and just, I don't know. It's
well,
just
yeah, the fact that we can watch this episode and have the
Yeah.
reactions we're having about,
Right?
you know, all the things that they're missing is
Yeah,
indicative
you know?
of all the things that we learned.
Yeah.
from
like the
pandemic.
commentary
Yes.
that we're having is based on our real life lived experience of living through a pandemic. It's
Although
just
even
wild to
then,
me.
I think even without that experience, like I feel like someone must have been like, because even before COVID, there were movies that would depict like pandemics. Like one of them is Contagion, right?
Mhm.
And like, you know, they would show like
They were dead on.
Yeah, and but then also like, oh, in order to quarantine, like we need to like cut people off and like we have to wear like full suits and like make safe clean rooms and all that. And it's like that is in the public consciousness in general about what could happen with like viral issues, but they never like do it in Star Trek, and I'm not sure why.
I think part of
Yeah.
that just comes from the fact that since the majority of the population hadn't actually had direct experience with such things, if it was missing, they didn't notice.
Yeah.
I guess
That's
so. I guess it was more of like a that doesn't like bump for us. So
Oh, but now we're all
now we'll
experienced.
notice because we all went through that shit. We saw it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Or
it's just
we're more
interesting,
likely
yeah.
to notice now. I think it was less likely that audiences were noticing at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like because it's like, you know, there is it is like kind of interesting because like yes, there is that scene where, you know, Cisco visits his son when he's sick, and you're
Yeah,
like,
he's all
oh,
up on him.
it is sweet that he's like, oh, you know, oh, I wish I could talk to you, and he gives him a kiss on the forehead, and you're like, oh, that is sweet, but it's at the cost of don't do that. You're
Yeah, I mean, my first thought when seeing that scene is just like, oh my God, he's way too close. He's touching him. He's like, why would he do that? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's funny how like history repeats itself. Like we're so dumb because like you know how like back in the days we had like the Spanish flu and a lot of different outbreaks and, and we had them again, and then now we're back to old timey like presidential assassination attempts. Like
Yep.
yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that well, political assassination attempts will never go away. That'll
they're always in
Right. Like
but
it's not
anyway.
like we've come up with a vaccine for presidential assassination.
No, not yet. So anyway, so everything's broken and everything's dead because everything's broken. So we're at the Quackers bar and this alien's like, oh, this food tastes like shit. And he fucking punks the Quacker and he makes him eat the fucking food. And the food's horrible because his replicator's fucked up. And then
Odo actually steps in, and it's just another example of Odo and Quark having like this strained but mutually respectful relationship.
They should have a buddy cop like movie where they go out
I was
together.
yelling out like, when are you gonna finally make out and just admit to each other that you love each other? Come on.
They're just a bickering married couple.
Wait,
at this point.
how
Like,
do you
it's
make
only
out
episode
with,
5.
How do you make out with Ferengi? Their teeth look like they're like shred your fucking mouth.
Yeah,
I thought you were about to say, how do you make out with a shapeshifter?
Yeah,
well,
Sarah,
that's
he's liquid. He's
every way
liquid. He's
possible,
liquid.
that's
He's
how.
gooey.
liquid.
He won't get hurt. He's
I'm
gooey.
actually
liquid.
very curious about that too. How do you make out with a shape?
He's
How do you
liquid.
make out with a Ferengi?
Any way you want, any way they want.
Yeah. What are they?
So he makes him eat the food and Odo saves him. And then he says, hey, you know, I'm on the list of people to get their shit fixed, but you know, Miles O'Brien's busy and shit.
Yeah.
And then he leaves and the Quacker's like, he's gonna he finds like he's trying to find where there's a a fixed replicator, and he finds one because he has these little fucking like fuses that like he's like a hacker.
It's like security bypass tubes.
Yeah, and he puts them in there, and he's like, and he finds out where that room that nobody's using is at, and that's how everybody starts getting infected. Which is he starts using that replicator that Miles O'Brien was drinking out of cups. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the tainted replicator.
Yeah. So anyway, the two ladies, which is the lady with the bug in her.
This is someone's poisoned the water hole episode.
Yeah. Someone shit in the fucking.
Someone shit in the pool.
In the well.
It's another Western premise.
The Bajoran lady and the worm lady.
Kira and Dax?
Yeah,
yes.
they're walking around. Who's Kira? Who's Kira?
Well, I just want to. Kira is the Bajoran. Kira Nerys and Jadzia Dax. So I have pronounced their actors' names incorrectly in the past, so I should probably just clarify that. So it's Terry Farrell who is playing Jadzia Dax. And it's Nana Visitor. So that's where the accent is put on. Nana Visitor.
Nana?
Yeah. It's Nana, not Nana. It's Nana.
Were you saying Nana?
I was saying Nana. Yeah.
he's like my Nana.
Don't laugh like you were saying Nana.
Yeah.
I knew it was Nana.
Sure.
How did you not know it was Nana?
Yeah.
Sure.
You were saying Nana?
Yeah. And then, I wasn't sure. But yeah, it's the Nana Visitor who plays Kira.
So the girl with the worm in her, she stays because they're like, hey, you want to party? The Quacker's like, let's fucking party, dude. It's happening.
She's into it. Fucking, if anything, Dax is down to party.
Yeah.
She loves.
Wait, is this where they have that? Did they have that conversation about being women and just how awful it is being catcalled all the time?
No, she loves it. But Dax loves it.
Yeah, well, Dax does, but like she's just like, oh, I forgot how much men are just like all over the place.
Yeah,
like,
but for Dax's part, it's like, I love it though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just was like,
it's like I love being a hot lady greeted with smiles instead of disgust at my horrible old man face.
Yeah.
I imagine that his old man face, he'd look like the right hand man to Adama in Battlestar. What's his name? Ty?
Yeah.
Oh,
but I thought when we have that flashback to Curzon dying on the bed, the medical bed, he looked like Jigsaw to me. Yeah. So
John Kramer? John Kramer?
Yeah. He kind of looked like with the baseball cap and everything.
Like one of those old decrepit men from Smiling Friends.
That's how he trapped her. He's like, "You want to play a game?" He's like,
the game is I'm going to transfer my worm.
into you. You try to get it out before dying. So anyway, Kira is talking to Miles O'Brien. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about Death Notes now.
Yeah, but I was about to say, speaking of Death Note.
I know, that's what I thought about. And so she's talking to him, and he starts making no fucking sense. He's like, the water purifier continues, blah, blah. He's just making up fucking gibberish shit.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that episode from, the one that we call Tanagra.
Darmok.
Actually, there are shades of that episode in this episode.
Let me tell you guys, every time you guys bring it up, it fucking angers me. It gets me riled up, dude.
When the
makes me want to storm the Capitol, dude. Yeah. That's how angry I get, dude.
That's what this episode kind of felt like, like that whole vein of
Mm-hmm.
do you understand me? Except they were like riddles in that episode, kind of.
And so he's not making any sense, and he can't figure out. He has no trauma to the head, nothing, and so it keeps getting worse. Mm-hmm. And like even though his writing's just fucking gibberish, dude, and nothing's coming up on the scans. Finally, they figure out it's a virus when eventually not Kira, the other lady, the worm lady gets a 2. She starts making fucking no fucking sense at all, dude. Mm-hmm. And they get scared. They're like, oh my God, now she has it too. And then Dr. Gaius Baltar figures out, oh, it's a virus, dude. It's a virus. Cyrus the virus, they call it.
Yep.
Another tell with this virus is you also start sweating profusely.
Yeah.
And Miles started off by saying,
on a microscopic level, it looks like 2 broccolis put together.
It does actually, yeah. It does look like two like a double-sided broccoli.
I love broccoli, dude.
Yeah, it's a delicious looking virus.
I love broccoli. I eat it raw. I eat
Uh-huh.
it any way you want to serve broccoli.
I like
I'm gonna fucking
broccoli.
eat it. I'm gonna eat it.
Hell yeah.
All
Still
right,
the
so,
deadliest vegetable on earth.
Well, for a reason.
Uh,
And so everyone's getting it, and they're like freaking out, and then that stupid idiot Lebowski guy, he keeps wanting to leave, and they're like, dude, there's a quarantine, you can't leave, motherfucker.
my cabbages are gonna spoil if I don't leave now.
Yeah, that's basically what it's about. He has some sort of perishable cargo that is going to go bad. That's why he's in such a hurry.
Get
to
a
go.
refrigerator,
I
asshole.
feel like that. I feel
Yeah.
like that storyline is not very strong. Like I was just like, when we kept cutting back to it, I was just like, oh, this motherfucker trying to leave. Like, what are you doing? Like,
that entire side thing is entirely so we can have
They can blow it up, and they can have Odo go out and what's his face help,
and have a climax ending versus
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
otherwise the ending would be and he fixed the virus in time.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was
You know,
the only
yeah.
part of the episode that I felt was kind of weak. Like the motivation from this guy, he just kind of kept popping up and being like, I need to go. I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to go. My cabbage and tomatoes are going to rot. Like, I need to go.
Also, they never showed how they punished him, dude, because he almost killed everybody.
Odo just took him into custody.
And Odo just beat him up a little bit. It was
Probably
like-
just
I hope he did. I hope he
Probably
did.
just took him out of an airlock.
And they like risk their lives to like save this motherfucker who like,
Well,
I
no,
don't know.
they didn't do it to save him. They did it to save all of them because
Yeah.
his
I
ship
guess.
blowing up was going to fuck up the base.
yeah,
I
right.
guess so.
So that's a
Probably just blew him into space.
Yeah.
Odo just kicked him out.
They're all, what's your favorite hand? And they took it off.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
Can Odo okay? This is because that for some
Odo
reason
can
made
go
me,
in people's butts and blow them up.
That's I was thinking
Mhm.
like, is Odo like T1000? Can he make like a knife hand
Oh yeah.
and like cut?
Why wouldn't he?
I
be able
know,
to?
right? Like so,
Yeah.
like
He can be rigid enough to be a pushable cart with
with working
Rolling
wheels.
wheels.
Yeah.
That's actually better
That's
than the T1000.
insane.
The T1000 actually can't make mechanical things like that.
It can
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
cart.
Yeah.
He can only make he can't make moving parts. The T1000.
Yeah, so that Odo is already confirmed better than
You can only make
T1000.
stabbing
Yeah.
weapons,
Yeah.
knives,
He could probably make
Yeah.
a gun in
no
his hand.
chemicals, moving
no
parts.
chemicals.
It doesn't work
moving
that way.
parts. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Man, Terminator 2 is such a badass movie.
It is a damn good movie.
but imagine now it's Odo as the T1000 instead of the T1000, and it's
And all he wants to do is have relations.
Well, in this episode, Odo was a cart.
Yeah.
Guess what Odo was? He was.
Tell
a
you
cart.
what.
Yeah,
what.
and I didn't guess it.
If James Cameron would have had the time
yeah.
and the inclination to make a T3,
Mhm.
the T1000 would have been the hero in that time. You know what I mean? And then we would have had the Odo as a hero type movie.
Mm.
Anyway, so Odo disguises himself as a cart, and he finds that the Quacker is fucking using that replicator,
Hell yeah.
and he's like, "God damn it, you're using it, you fucking bastard!"
Why isn't he? It's a replica. Why isn't he allowed?
I don't know. It's weird. It's because he has to. I guess it's because he didn't ask.
It's in crew
He's-
quarters.
He's
That's why.
trespassing
Yeah.
quarters to get to it, and Odo does make it clear that that's what he's getting on his case for.
Yeah, he's like, if you just would have asked. it
But no
probably
one's
would've been
living
fine.
there.
So a couple things happen, but it's crew quarters. That's
Yeah,
not part
yeah.
of their shit, dude. Get
guess
them out
so.
of there, dude.
And I guess
So-
Odo was like, "You could have just asked. We would have just
Yeah.
given you the."
Yeah, it's like if Quark snuck into your kitchen to use the sink.
Yeah, and this is like the first time, I guess. It's like, Quark, come on. Like, this is the first time where Quark doesn't seem like cool.
Yeah,
You just see
he's
him-
doing something that's a little truly
s-
shady to the point of like, that sucks.
and kind of stupid. Like, because he could have just avoided it by just being like, "Well, could I use one of your replicators at the moment?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?" You know. So
So two things happen. Everybody all over the place starts getting fucking sick.
yes,
And the second thing is that the funny thing that happens is that people start putting themselves in the infirmary into quarantine and stuff, people that are infected.
Mhm.
And then they call Cisco. They're like, "Oh, sadly, your kid's here," you know? And so Cisco goes there to make sure his kid's fine. And he sees the Quacker there, and he's like, "See, you're sick too." And he's like, "No." And the Quacker's trying to get money for this guy
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He's still trying to get money.
He's like, money, gold, give me.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Well,
and so-
Quark has misunderstood kind of the same way we did, or we almost did at the
Yeah.
beginning, where he thought he was speaking a new language.
he's
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
he's
Trying
like,
to
give me
speak it
enough,
back.
give me enough time, and I'll fucking speak their language, dude.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, the other thing is that Kira finds the little gizmo that sabotaged the replicator,
Mhm.
and Cisco goes, "Well, we need an antidote, and we need to find out who built the thing to see if they can make an antidote."
Yeah. Also,
So
it turns out it's actually a Bajoran terrorist
Yeah,
implement.
because at first she was like, "Oh, it's a fucking Kardashian. It's Kim Kardashian,
yeah.
that fucking BBL girl." And then he's like, "I don't know, dude." And she's like, "I bet my life on it. It's a fucking Kardashian."
Yeah.
And it turns out it was a Bajoran. So she finally tracks down the guy, and they're losing time, dude, because everyone's getting really sick. And then
So, by the way, that guy, his name, right? First of all, the original scientist is dead, but he had an assistant
Yes.
named Cermak Ren.
Yes.
So apparently
Kylo Ren.
that is a very specific Ren and Stimpy reference.
really,
really?
Yes. Cermak
Huh.
Ren, because they have there's another part of the record that said the ghoul that was overlooking their the place they were captured, his name was Ghoul Spumco.
Oh,
which is-
wow. Okay.
So for some reason they were inserting Ren and Stimpy references. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
That's so weird.
That feels weirder than inserting Dirty Pair references. I'm not sure why. Maybe because Dirty Pair is like a space anime, but Ren
I
and
guess
Stimpy is
so.
just random, like a random American, like goofy anime.
But it was like fairly new at the time, so like the cultural impact it was creating in its during its debut was probably being felt around then as well.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So it was just
This is-
people just being fans,
Yeah. I just find that interesting that they.
so she tracks down the assistant, and she's like, "Well, I think I found the guy, but he hung up on me."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah. He was so rude.
yeah, and then fucking
He
Miles O'Brien starts
sounded
getting
super
worse.
fucking guilty
Yeah.
when you hung up. I don't know anything. Click. I was
He's
yeah, okay.
He's like,
Nothing.
he's like, are you the Wonder Man that fucking killed my wife? And he's like, me? I don't know anything about the murders. And like, fucking guilty as shit, dude. And then Miles O'Brien starts sweating like a fucking like crazy, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like he was perspiring earlier, and then he's just a
Yeah.
full on sweating, dude.
Yeah.
It's wet.
And yeah, he's wet as shit, dude. Wet ass forehead.
And then we
And-
learned that the virus is actually going to start killing people now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It-
'Cause before you were
really
kind of
got
like-
serious.
Yeah, before it was honestly before the stakes of the virus seemed really low. Where
Yeah,
it was
it's
just like it's just it is very bad that they can't communicate, but I feel like you'll figure that out
But this
eventually.
is
Yeah.
just one of those wacky TV
But
mishap things.
You know what?
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody doing like the old fucking you speak a different language than me. Let me fucking mime things for you, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like
They didn't spend
like,
a lot of time with
like-
it.
yeah.
fucking I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It's like- or like they didn't go like they should have gone like miles, you know? And then
Why not start
O'Brien
using pictures?
doing the whole fucking
They
like
could have
a-
started drawing. They
Right?
really could have.
Yeah, and you just draw
and like Miles
pictures.
O'Brien,
Yeah.
I think they could have gone hot.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
for those that can't see us, we're doing miming of
Yeah.
of,
Yeah,
of,
everyone's
Yeah.
We're doing,
Miles, yeah.
of different actions
But I wonder
Yeah.
if the
Communicate.
aphasia was so extreme that even hand gestures,
would be mixed
Would be
up.
affected.
because the words were affected.
That's
like
true.
they looked at the words and the words had changed on the screen. So
That's true.
I mean,
I don't-
like
Yeah.
I would imagine that if it had gotten that bad, then they wouldn't be like be able to walk or do anything.
aphasia is a weird thing. Aphasia can be very specific because the brain is very strangely. I mean, so much of the brain is specific to just language. You can change it just like a large portion of it, and it'll affect just language or communication. So it is a thing. Like
Should have given them a GIF keyboard
yeah, they would just communicate using emojis. You
or
know,
a GIF keyboard, whichever
Yeah.
one makes less people angry.
Yeah.
now
Jiffy.
you've made everyone angry.
Do
by
you say
saying both.
Jiffy or Giffy?
I honestly don't fucking know. That's why I'm always so like I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I
say
never
put
had a
some-
horse in this race.
Put a
Babel,
jiffy,
if you
put a
want
jiffy
to.
on my toast.
Yeah.
So anyway, everybody starts getting really sick, and she tells Kira, like, you got to find this guy ASAP, dude. And she's like, I found him, but he hung up on me. Let me go find him. So she takes off in a fucking in a ship.
Well, at first Cisco's like, "Hey, you can't go down there. You'll infect everyone's like, no, I got this. Just watch.
Yeah.
I got
He's
something."
out. He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna infect just one dude. And so she takes off. And meanwhile, like they need help. So like Odo starts helping Cisco like control the command center, I guess you'd call it.
Mhm.
And then fucking Cisco gets sick, dude.
Yeah.
But before that happens, there's a scene with a Quacker and Odo, and he's like, hey, because they're bored, and he's like, hey, Odo, you want to like just play for funsies, like gamble?
Yeah, it's
And
weird.
he's
It
like-
starts off
he's
with
like-
Quark just
he's like,
playing
I can't.
roulette, like Dabo by himself, which is essentially roulette. It's just
Yeah.
kind of a
Right.
weird start to the scene.
Yeah,
'Cause he's-
and you find out that Odo has been hanging around the bar forever, and he never learned how to fucking gamble, dude. Which is funny. And then so Odo goes and helps Cisco like run the fucking thing, because even the doctor fucking gets it, dude. Doctor starts making no fucking sense.
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
And then Cisco gets it.
yeah.
And then so the Quacker comes in. He like Odo calls like, hey, anybody who still fucking can hear and make sense of
If
this
you can
thing,
understand this, yeah.
come over here, dude, and help me out. And the Quacker shows up and he's like, oh, I better get hazard pay. And then I love this thing where he's like, well, it's that idiot from the Big Lebowski is like trying to leave, and he's gonna blow up the whole fucking base with the stupid ship. And he's like, transport me out of here. And he's like, oh, you don't worry, I used to work on a mining ship. And he's like, I've seen people do this a million times.
Yeah.
And then he does the old oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And then he energizes him, and
He just smiles.
Yeah, he
He's
smiles.
like, I did a great job.
Yeah. And
I
then
mean,
he's like,
and it works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
and he's like, we got to talk about hazard pay.
Hazard pay.
And so
God.
Kira kidnaps this dude because she hails him again, and as he's about to hang up, he fucking beams him up.
She like beams him up, yeah.
Yeah,
Kidnaps him.
Yeah, and so she's like, hey, you have to help me like reverse engineer this thing, and he's like, I don't know anything. And then slowly he starts revealing that like he was only an assistant to this dude, and and she's like, well, you have to help me because there's people dying. And he's like, well, I feel bad, but like something I can do. He's like, well, now you're infected because I'm infected, bitch.
Yeah.
Well, she was like all up in his face. And
Yeah,
was
she's
just
like,
I've been coughing
She's
this
like-
whole time.
She's like, yeah, and I'm about to kiss you. Now you have it.
yeah.
That's a risky gambit.
She was not 6 feet away.
Yeah, what if he was
No.
like, okay, I'm infected. I still can't help you.
Yeah, all she's done is killed a
Yeah.
top medical facility guy from Bajor. He's like, she could have started a war.
I'm an innocent person, ma'am. Why are you all up in my face?
Yeah, he could be like,
Please.
I truly do not know.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't innocent because you immediately, when he hung up, you immediately know that he was involved somehow. So he wasn't
Yeah, right.
innocent. She knew from the get go that he wasn't innocent, that he had something to do with it. But he just needed the right push in the right direction.
His
And
life
so-
needed to be in danger for
Yeah.
him to.
So they
Wanna
get over
save
there,
others.
and he fucking fixes everything before anybody dies, and then Odo saves the base, and like in the Quacker asks for fucking hazard pay.
That's such a
Um,
popular trope in sci-fi. I feel like sometimes where like nobody wants to help until it happens to them, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh well, let me get my ass into gear here and figure it out in five minutes.
Well,
He did figure it out
But
real fast.
He
yeah.
figured it out really fast, and then it's like, oh well, since I'm gonna die,
And I guess
I'm
he did say,
well,
like,
the
it hurt-
greater
but-
good.
But I mean, okay, we may have to cut this out. But so we were talking about something earlier, and you said not until it happened to one of my close family members
Yeah,
that I realized. So even you're seeing it, even something you're seeing in the news, you don't really know how it affects you until it affects you to your family. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think that's the case with everything. I think that's the case. I think that's a problem with like having the internet.
But I think it is a general problem with humans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
it's a
that
human problem.
Humans,
okay, but in this case, would you have been like, I'm not helping?
Well, in general, here's the thing: is that like I even read an article on like National Geographic or something where you immediately the jump from like it has been a crazy jump from like us sending being able to send mail across the world to then, we can call across the world,
Mhm.
to then I could be in the other side of the world within one day. Do you know what I mean? And it happens so fast that we still group ourselves into like us. That's why we're still, to be honest, we should not be thinking country wise. We should be thinking planet wise.
Neighborhood.
Because
Yeah.
even the pandemic showed that something that happens across the world
Yep.
hits us. Even something as like famine in another part of the world, it still affects us. Like you don't
Absolutely.
realize that until it hits us like a couple months later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but us as humans, we're still thinking locally. And like only when it affects us, only when it touches my family or the people I know, only then will I care.
Which is depressing in some ways. Like, how do you get people to think and care more globally on a global level when I feel like us as humans started off in very small groups? I mean, biologically, that's kind of how it was. You weren't. I mean, early on in human evolution, you weren't aware of other humans living across the world because there was no connection.
Yeah, and even with like the pandemic, like you saw people that were very anti wearing masks and anti quarantine and anti people anti staying home, and then people and their families are dying, and they're like, oh shit, like this isn't fake, like this is a real thing. And there's people that now that still don't believe that the thing was a real thing.
Yep.
And it's because it didn't hit someone, close to them or something.
Definitely.
But that's how it, I think that it's not too much of it's not far-fetched to think like, well, I can't help you until it affects me. It's a trope for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
I find that believable. I think it's just, I think Sarah, your only problem with it is not moral, but I don't think he's a moral character.
No.
No,
I mean,
not.
if he helped create a virus that would actually hurt people,
he's also not human, right? So I guess this is species across, like,
But I mean,
they're writing them all as humans?
Yeah. Isn't the species?
He's not human. He's Bajoran. Isn't
the proxy for species like races, right?
Yeah.
They're
I guess I always want to hope,
and that's
that
a sci-fi problem.
We would all
exactly.
The optimist in me is like, oh man, I really wish people would think about the greater good, even this far in the future. But I guess not. I'm always disappointed.
Now, the thing that strikes me about the whole arrangement of Quark finally showing up when everyone else is like down and infected and everything, it's like it occurred to me while thinking about the episode that DS9 as a station is ostensibly much larger than, like, say, the Enterprise is. Like, it's not. Yeah. It's much larger than a starship.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many people are supposed to be on DS9 at any given moment, but I'm assuming it's more than you would have in, like, the Enterprise, say.
But it feels so much smaller.
I think it was actually
kind of, yeah.
I think Deep Space Nine is actually considered extremely understaffed.
Yeah, and then that's kind of where I was going, where it's like, in spite of being a much larger structure, it feels like there are no people here.
Yeah.
At least manning the stations and working the station.
Yeah, it's understaffed for sure.
Right, and so it's like this scenario made it very apparent just how understaffed they are, in that Quark, it came down to Quark and Odo so fast.
Yeah, there was no help, no additional resources.
No one even tried to show up. No one even showed up and then went down fast. It was just only Quark and Odo were left very quickly.
Which is fascinating because, like, if it theoretically is bigger than the Enterprise, then I don't know, this just feels so much smaller.
Well, the real answer is the, writing and not enough budget for characters and time and blah, blah, blah. But,
the real answer is, like, we have limited sets. We can't afford a bunch of actors.
To be granted, it's a huge set. Like, if you look at it,
it's huge, but they, it's numbered, right?
Yeah, but given the scenario and the setting that they've set up, it's like, this is like the read of what my mind is doing now, where it's well, they've set up that is very big, but there's not many people that they're showing off. And, when a sickness comes through, everyone's gone very fast.
Yeah.
So there's like no one here.
Yeah. It's interesting. For sure. And it also feels like I want to be like, where's the upper management? Can we get more staff? What's going on here?
Cisco is upper management.
Come on, Cisco. Did you talk to your boss? Let's get more help down here.
But since it is an outpost, I see why, like, it's not a starship, or it's not full. It's under the care of the Federation, right? Like he's like the
Yeah.
sheriff there, but it's not a town that belongs. I mean, so like
Yeah.
there's no reason to send more people. There's no reason
resources.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it was originally understaffed just because they didn't think that much would happen on it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, you think the discovery of the wormhole might hopefully change that.
Yeah, like at this point, there should be like a noticed need for new staff, at least on the Starfleet end.
Maybe we'll get there.
There's a, you know.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
So at the end, there's that little stinger at the end where like Cisco goes, Miles O'Brien, or what he says.
Miles, the coffee's still bad.
But overall, it was a good show. Like, I mean, a good episode. It was fun.
I found it inoffensive.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like again, like we said in the beginning, like even though it's a filler episode, you feel the filler episodes a little more on TNG than you do on here. I don't know if it's because it's new and it's new to us that we just started it, or that, you know, that's how it really is written, or if it's just like, oh, look, a new fresh thing. And we're seeing the greener pastures.
I think part of it is that, especially, I think TNG season 1 was particularly weak because a lot of it was that they were recycling really old screenplays that were originally designed for Star Trek 2.
Yeah.
And as a result, they felt really old because they were.
Yeah.
And they had like really old ways of writing characters and stuff. I think a big part of DS9 is that because you started off with really strong characters and you're already seeing how developed they are and whatnot, if you have a more middling episode, it's still with those characters.
Yeah.
So I think having the strong characters really carries it a lot. You know?
I'm curious to see next season of TNG to see if this affects the other show.
Yeah,
like the cross contamination.
That's a good point.
I mean, they are cutting back and forth weekly.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, but seeing the effects, like, so right now they're cutting back and forth and they're filming simultaneously, right? But having now the opportunity to be like, well, now we finished the season. What are we on? Season 5 of TNG?
6.
Mid-season 6.
Yeah.
So let season 6 end and then see how DS9 was.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? How that affected audiences and the feedback. Also, you're talking about a time where like there's no social networking, so like you're not getting instant feedback. You're getting feedback like when people are sending like letters in and like
ratings,
the ratings and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're getting it a little late. It's trickling in. I'm curious to see how it affects TNG in the next season once they see the numbers and stuff.
The interesting part, the way you say that though, is that so we're having a very positive reaction to Deep Space Nine overall.
Yeah.
The general public was not.
At the time,
it
was a flop.
It was sort of a flop. Yeah, I mean, like, I think a big part of it is that because of the way it's airing with TNG, people are like, well, this isn't TNG.
Yeah.
I like TNG. TNG feels nice and safe, and I want to keep watching TNG. And Deep Space Nine, everything's very different. Where's Picard? Where's Riker?
Yeah.
You know,
where's the organization and the
where's Venom?
Yeah, you know, it's like where's my super hot women? You know, like where's Deanna Troy in her skimpy outfits?
There's kind of a lack of women on this.
They give you Kira. They give you Dax.
No,
yeah, but Dax is not wearing anything sexy.
Yeah, Kira and Dax are dressed very professionally. They're not dressed in a skimpy dress. And
come on, Marvin, be professional, dude.
And hypersexualized.
Yeah, but like as of Jellicoe's, like entry to the Enterprise, Deanna is no longer wearing cleavage uniform no more, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's true, but that was late in the game. And
a lot of, even if that was what kept you watching, too bad.
Did they ever really answer like why this terrorist virus device was so delayed? Like why?
Oh, they speculated, but they didn't know.
Yeah, they just said like it just was never triggered, probably.
Yeah,
but like
like for some reason, O'Brien fixing that replicator is what activated it.
Yeah,
it's like he accidentally activated.
That would make me wonder, like, what other fucking hidden terrorist things are on this fucking thing? Like,
look at mines. There's mines in parts of the world
that's true
are not activated.
It just makes me feel like it's not a place for children, or it's just very scary.
No, it's not.
Like
That's
what?
Children,
Like, why would we
It's
have
the Wild
family
West.
here?
It's the Wild
Like,
West, dude.
children should not be in space.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Marvin, technically, we're all in space right now.
I know,
Yeah.
but they should not be involved in space travel. They should not have been on the Enterprise. They should not be on Deep Space Nine. Like they should get the kids out of there. Like it's not-
You're the Marvin. I love it, dude. You're the anti JD Vance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no,
You are. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Marvin.
Now, that depends on like what you consider JD Vance's actual values vis-a-vis expanding into space are.
Yeah,
I will
well,
say-
we got to find out.
I will say,
he wants to-
Marvin.
I know he wants to put eyeliner on everybody that goes to space. That's what I know.
I will say Marvin does really love that couch in his office.
Oh yeah, dude.
I
Who
do.
knows what's happened in that couch?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
Well,
So anyway,
scores.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
You know what?
7.5?
I'm at a 7. Honestly,
All right.
I just think it's not like particularly exceptional. Like it's like it's one of those episodes that if it never happened, nothing would have changed, right? Whereas like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
past prologue explains a lot about Kira and her past.
Yeah.
It gives her characterization. So
Yeah.
does A Man Alone. Like A Man Alone, I think is very important for Odo's development.
Well, I thought this was a lot. This was good for like the Quackers' development.
Okay, so that's true. And Armin Shimmerman actually mentioned that he thought this was the first episode where he understood Quark. He thought this was like the
I
first
thought you said that
time.
about last episode, dude. You keep changing it, dude.
No. I didn't say anything like that about episode. Actually, it was actually this episode. Armin Shimmerman was like, "Oh, Quark is like a unscrupulous problem solver. Like
I
he'll."
feel like it's a little late in the game for the actor to say they're just understanding.
Yeah.
that.
I mean, to be fair, Patrick
Okay.
Stewart didn't understand his character until season 2. So
Yeah, there are a lot of
Yeah.
there are tons of shows
They're
where
like,
actors
wait.
don't say I didn't get a full handle on it,
to-
or
to-
they
to
didn't
be
get the
honest-
initial thing
Hold
until
on.
a whole
To
season.
be honest, I think I don't know if I brought this up, but like I want to say like a year or two ago, I was driving and I don't know what the fuck triggered like a high school memory,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my god, she was flirting with me. Oh my god, dude. Oh
All
my
right.
gosh,
That's
she was
very delayed.
Well, yeah, like, and it was
Yeah.
how many fucking years after?
Yeah.
And there was
That's
a
crazy.
girl. We were both in high school. We were both, and she would constantly put her foot in between my legs on my chair because we sat. It was science class, we had those
Oh,
classes.
you didn't realize?
and I was like, oh my god, dude! I just got it. It just hit me. Like 20
Yeah.
years later.
That's fucking hilarious.
Classic
Yeah.
high
Holy
school
shit.
footsies. Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
just yeah, that's a classic high school thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
Wow, and it just hit you. That's funny.
Wait, it
Yeah.
hit you like
Sorry.
just now?
This just happened like a year ago that it hit me.
Okay.
But that's
So-
what she was doing.
Because I was
Yeah.
about to ask you, like, wait, what reminded you of this right now?
Because Ricardo loves thinking
I
about.
Well,
meant
you're
like
just
a
talking
year- I
about
meant-
delayed understanding of a situation
yes,
or character. Yeah, that's
Understanding,
tangent.
we're talking about Picard, not Picard,
Quark. Quack.
the actor who plays
Armin
Quacker.
Shimmerman, yeah.
Yeah, it taking him a couple like episodes to get it, and I'm like, well, it took me years to realize something stupid, and the way it triggered it
What
was
did you
something.
think she was doing?
Being an asshole.
Well, yes, technically
Like
an
at the
asshole.
time, like
Also,
what
to be
did you
honest,
think
I
was
always
happening?
had the foot thing, like where like I don't like feet,
Right.
Yeah.
and she would always
Yes.
wear like flip flops and do that with her like bare feet.
no.
And now I'm thinking like, oh, I guess she thought like I was into feet and like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But
maybe
like
not, maybe not as far as that, but you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like it was a flirty thing that like,
Were you like, get your foot off me?
no, because I always thought like, oh, maybe like I didn't know she was overtly flirting.
Yeah.
I just
Mhm.
thought like I was like, maybe she doesn't know that that's kind of could be. I don't know what I was thinking in high school, dude. I was,
You know, at some point,
I-
Ricardo, you might need to draw a diagram of exactly how like this was configured, just so that people at home aren't too confused about like your description here.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's what triggered it. It was the
Mhm.
Picard thing, but the way my memory got triggered was because it was biology class. It was science class,
Yeah. Okay.
and somehow someone on the radio or somebody was talking about a fucking frog. And I remembered, dissecting the frog in fucking science class. And
Mm.
somehow it went to like, oh, that girl used to put her fucking foot on my fucking chair all the time. And it kind of bothered me because I was not, and then it just triggered it. And this triggered it now. And that's the map to it.
Wow.
That's how my wild brain works.
That's
guys.
how it works. That's amazing. I love that. I love that. That's fast.
And that's why you shouldn't do drugs in high school, or when you get out of high school.
Nah, high school's the only time where it matters.
Yeah.
Maybe if someone does put their foot on you, they might be flirting.
Well,
Might be
yeah. Well,
flirting.
also, yeah. I did do a little drugs in high school, so
Yeah.
maybe that was a problem.
Yeah, like,
but
just care when you're in high school. Before high school, all bets are off. After
Yeah.
high school, you know, you can resume. No worries.
but here's the thing: did we get Dan's score?
No, we didn't get Dan
I
or
didn't
Sarah's
get my score.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go with 7.
Did anyone give a score? What was your score, Ricardo?
7.5.
Oh, 7.5. I gave a 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna match Marvin, and I'm gonna go with a 7. I feel like this was it was a good
Yeah, it's a
filler
very
episode,
7 episode to me.
Yeah.
but it didn't really add anything beyond. I don't know.
It's the first episode where I'm like, that was
That's fine.
fine.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
fine.
like I was excited about past
Inoffensive.
prologue, and I was kind of excited about A Man Alone because I was like, look at these writing things they're doing that I think are really like interesting.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This was an episode that was like a good reminder for me to be like, oh yeah, like it isn't just going to be all great. Like it's just going to be every so often we're going to get one that, you know,
it's fine, but it's not. We're not going to be blown away.
Here are the things that maybe I like that it didn't put me in a negative space to be like, another filler episode, where I feel that sometimes I'm watching like a TNG episode and I'm like,
I feel like that's unfair to
God
say
damn
about
it.
this particular episode because it's the very first one.
What do you mean the first
We
one?
can't say like, another filler episode about this show when it's the very
That's
first
true,
filler
that's
episode
true.
ever.
Yeah,
Well, it just didn't feel like I still
Yeah.
haven't, like I said from the beginning, like I still haven't felt like we've hit a filler episode.
yeah.
Mhm.
Even this, that
Well, yeah, and so like it's guaranteed to get at least
Yeah.
one.
yeah. And
Like
so
we'll have to forgive at least one.
yeah, and I'm wondering like if we get more, like if I'll be as forgiving, but so far it feels good, and we learn more about the Quacker. You know,
I'm
Yeah,
ready-
Like, we would
I'm
be in
ready.
a grace period either way.
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
see a total fucking flop dud of an episode of DS9, but I can't think of a comparison.
people
I've
keep
already
saying,
heard a couple of
TNG.
people. Yeah, there are a couple
Maybe
of
like the
episode titles.
the clip show episodes of TNG where you're just like, wow, no, this is not it.
I
I
haven't
think that's-
committed them to memory yet, but there are a couple of like famously bad episodes that people keep mentioning in our comments.
Yeah. Also, and mentioned the clip show. I don't think Star Trek has ever done a clip show ever again. So I think
No,
that's...
well, the reception was probably just so terrible.
And also, that was like an emergency situation. There was like running
Yeah.
out of money, and there was a writer strike. So they were like, we have to make
Yeah.
something.
Well, what's the equivalent of like a really sucky episode for TNG? Hold on, let me think.
Let me see the Mortak. What's it called?
You were trying to get in there.
I
so
know. When,
fast.
I'm gonna say
What's it called?
when the walls fell.
Darmok. You hate
Tanagra.
Darmok.
Darmok. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. That'll piss people off really bad.
What are you talking? That was a shitty episode, dude.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
bad.
the episode where Deanna's flying through the air is
that was pretty bad. Yeah.
not that great.
Wait, wasn't that the horror one though?
I guess it was interesting because it's horror.
It had bits of it that I
Yeah.
liked.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Like, what's a total dud one?
Oh, one of
That
the
we
worst
hated.
episodes for sure we have not seen yet. But
Okay. So the
um,
worst is yet to come.
I don't ever care to watch Loxana hem and
oh.
haw over marrying a guy
oh,
again.
the one of the
Oh,
worst.
yeah,
Okay,
that
the
one.
one of the.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the episode I currently hate the most in TNG.
Oh, that
is,
weird land where they take you to that weird, creepy crown.
Yeah,
land.
and then
The
they like
crown
she has
land
mud
and,
baths.
Yeah,
with,
that
with
one.
Oh
That
yes,
episode,
yes.
that
I don't like
episode.
that one. That was a
Alexander,
shitty episode.
Isn't
that
that
was
all the
awful.
same one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it might be.
Okay.
Also, okay, Wesley Justice is not a great episode. The one where Wesley falls into the flower bed.
Oh, yeah.
that
That
sounds pretty.
was
I mean,
They
like
should've-
season 1 is kind of easy pickings.
They should've
though,
killed him.
at least usually.
Let me say one more thing about this episode. Is that it was good to see. I know I shit on Beverly a lot, and it's partly it's a bit, but partly it's true.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you saw Cisco care for his kid and be like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I will risk getting this fucking
He
COVID
kissed his kid. Yeah.
because I love him,
Ew.
and you know, I want to make sure he's safe. But
yeah.
you know, Beverly would have been like, I'm just gonna go hang out with Picard for my last moments on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, in like it wasn't like a virus situation at that point. That was like they're running out of life support. But still,
Same
it's
thing,
a
dude.
similar situation where they're all headed towards impending medical
Doom.
death.
I have
Yeah.
one final thought regarding like this series in general.
Yeah.
Is that this episode is maybe the beginning of me getting worried for Miles.
Oh,
Oh no. He made his bed, dude.
It's just that I know of memes in the fandom
Yeah.
that make me worried for Miles.
There's
Justice for Keiko.
Worried for justice.
So
I'm just worried for Miles. I'll just say that.
There's a meme amongst the fandom. It's O'Brien must suffer.
Oh,
What?
wow.
And that's basically all I know about it, really.
Oh my god.
I'm worried for Miles.
We'll see what happens.
You'll see what happens to Miles.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Miles, no.
By the time the series is done, you're like, people shouldn't be able to survive things like this.
Oh no. Miles.
All right. Well,
Karma.
everybody, that was our discussion of Babel. Thanks
Yes.
for listening. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the episode, check out our fugitiveframes.store for merch. And also, if you want, you can give us a comment or review wherever you are, blah, 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 blah. That's all cool. We really enjoy it when you
Yes. Send us send us a comment or send us an email.
yeah.
We love those.
I mean, speaking of
Um,
emails, you can always email us at contact@newbiestartrek.com. That's contact@newbiestartrek.com. This week, I'm going to read 2 emails just because one of them is not even Star Trek related. This is something that is related to things that we talk about often. It's titled Dean Cain in Breaking Bad.
Oh, what?
So, okay, after listening to you guys speak so fondly about the Dean scream, I was wondering if you're...
I don't know about fondly.
I was wondering if you were aware that the scream was mixed into the explosion scene in Breaking Bad season 1, episode 6, Crazy Handful of Nothing. Given
really?
your love of both Breaking Bad and Howard Dean's...
Did you know this, Marvin?
I did not know this, no.
What the fuck? That's
Yeah,
blowing
dude.
my mind, actually.
Given your love of both Breaking Bad and Howard Dean's unhinged scream, I figured you'd get a kick out of it. P.S. I'd still love for Ricardo to call me a piece of shit. Sincerely, Lionel, not the Thundercat. So,
You know what's so funny is that I made a coworker cry once because I called him a piece of shit.
I remember you saying
Oh my
that.
god.
Yeah, and you think it'd make me stop saying that, but it hasn't, dude. And I think
Well, clearly.
yeah, clearly. In fact, now people want you to call them a piece of shit.
yeah. So
They're like, call me a piece of shit, Ricardo.
Wait, so would that have been like the episode of like him like flinging that fulminated mercury?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
so is it kind of like the Wilhelm scream?
I mean, it would be kind of funny if the
People started using it?
the Howard Dean scream became a Wilhelm scream.
I would much prefer for that to become the new Wilhelm scream. if
Yeah, that'd be
anything.
great. Yeah, retroactively, let's go back into Star Wars. And
It
put
has
in.
it has a fairly similar like, uniqueness to it.
yeah.
It's probably in more movies and shows than we realize.
Yo, that would be actually really interesting to discover if like sound editors picked up
Yeah.
on that and like
Yeah.
started doing
Started
it.
putting it in, it's the new Wilhelm
Because that is what Wilhelm screams were, and kind of originally too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Well, the second email. Well, first of all, thank you.
Oh
very
my god.
much.
Yes,
That
thank
was
you.
just one email? I thought there was 2.
No, I'm doing 2.
I thought one person was a Wilhelm thing and one person wanted me to call him a piece of shit.
No,
Same
that's
person.
the same guy.
Same
Same guy
person.
wants you to call
Same
him.
person.
person.
Same
Not
piece of
Lionel
shit.
would still like you to call him a piece of shit.
Well, he's
So.
a piece of shit, dude.
Also, if it was Lionel with like EL at the end,
Yeah.
it's like you're not even a Thundercat.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember the cat? He'd be like, narf, 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 narf.
Although
I have a
I'm
bad
sure
feeling
people made
about
the
this,
connection anyway,
Lionel.
for which I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The second email is subject line.
Wait, is this guy Messi? Lionel
No.
Messi?
No, not that guy.
Oh,
Not that
dude,
Lionel.
I thought,
No.
does Messi want me to call him a piece of shit? I'll fucking do it, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He heard about us talking shit about him with the extra spots.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Taking
so.
her thunder with his fucking wallet. Piece of shit.
Second email, the subject line, porn in Texas.
Yes,
So,
dude.
Oh.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
hello, Star Trek newbies. I love that this is the first thing that made me actually contact you after listening to the entire podcast.
I love it already.
Sarah asked, "What do people in the Orwellian porn states do?"
Yeah.
My,
Orwellian porn
uh,
states.
My answer is Reddit. It's filled to the brim with
Oh,
porn.
okay.
Very little of
really?
it currently blocked by our dumbass state government.
Wow.
On a less salacious note, Ricardo said that he wished that more shows would do an animated series after the show gets canceled. That is actually what Star Trek did. After the original series was canceled after just 3 seasons, it proved to be very popular with fans in syndication. This led to Gene Roddenberry to create the animated series, which acted as a 4th and 5th season, and even included most of the original cast doing the voice work. Fans consider it to be canon, but it is not officially. Thanks for the awesome series. I'm really excited that you guys are now getting to my favorite Star Trek series, Deep Space Nine, and can't wait to hear you talk about it. I'm a few episodes behind. Name withheld upon request.
Oh, nice. We'll call
Nice.
him.
Thank you.
We'll call him Dingane.
Well, thanks for sharing the tip, the Reddit tip. Hopefully, our listeners in Texas.
You know what?
Can,
This is what. Okay, I'm gonna clarify some things. I've shit on some states before, and Texas is one of them that I've shit on. But I don't mean to shit on the. I mean to shit on shitty people. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of cool people that live in Texas.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about the
people-
Ted Cruzes of the world.
I mean,
Yeah, dude.
This person meant said specifically dumbass state government.
Yes,
So,
yes.
you know.
Right.
so,
you know what? I feel bad saying this, but you know what? In the sake of saying fuck it, I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna say it. I hate that piece of shit Greg Abbott guy. And this was literally, this happened maybe within a year or two ago. And I go, man, fuck, dude. I wish that fuck, something horrible happened to that fuck. And then I found out he was in a wheelchair. That made me laugh.
Oh.
well,
Yeah.
You mean like he was recently put into a wheelchair, or that he's been in a
No,
wheelchair
no,
this whole
no.
time?
He's been in a
He's
wheelchair.
always been in one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you feel bad or?
No, I think I retroactively made that happen. You know what's so crazy
You're
is
like, I
like
want something horrible.
it's
to
so
happen.
wild that
Yeah.
like what happened to him. He was running and a fucking like tree or something fell on him and it paralyzed him.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, look it up.
I actually never really looked into much
yeah.
about what happened, but
To be fair, I
Okay.
hope horrible things to happen to everybody and humans in general. So take that with a grain of salt.
that's coming. That's coming.
I'm telling you, dude, we still stand on different sides, Sarah. You give humanity too much credit. I think they're unevolved fucking bacteria.
Yeah.
And you're always hyping them up, dude. And I'm always knocking them down.
Sometimes I see the positives, but then I'm kicked back down to earth.
Yeah. But you know what? This person in Texas gives me hope.
Yeah.
They're fighting the good fight with porn.
Yeah.
They're watching it.
Giving the tips, the Reddit tips.
Giving the tips of where to find it. So
Yeah.
now we know, allegedly a little birdie told us, an unnamed birdie told us that you can watch porn on Reddit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're in Texas.
But again, if you want to get that ExpressVPN, you don't have to worry about that
Problem
shit.
solved.
Just
Yeah.
put yourself in Canada, and Canada doesn't give a shit. They'll let you watch
Wait, I
Pornhub.
thought I heard earlier was it this email or was it the one previous that said something about the cartoon series? Was it
This one?
this
It was
one?
this email. It was this email.
It's the same.
Okay, I
email.
was just making sure. Like, is this also still the porn email?
Yeah, the porn
It's
email also
porn
talked
slash-
of.
Okay,
Yes,
because I just wanted to say like the cartoon series thing, like as a solution for after a show concludes, really doesn't happen anymore.
The closest I think of is, but it hadn't really like concluded. I guess it technically concluded was Clone Wars with Star Wars. Because they did finish the prequel trilogy, and then they were like, "Well, let's keep making a show."
Oh, really?
So you know,
Well,
I guess
the show was created to kind of tie in and just was allowed to keep going.
that's true. Yeah. I guess that's more an accurate way to present.
They wanted more money.
Yeah.
yeah,
so
I
they
mean,
kept
Star
going.
Wars. You know,
Here's the thing that I would like also
Mhm.
putting it out there to happen.
Mhm.
There's a lot of pilots that get done and they never get released because they're like, no one wants to buy this. I wish they would just be like, hey, like a network would be like, Fox, during the summer,
Mhm.
we're just going to air on air pilots just for the sake of it, you know?
And then that used to be a thing. I remember.
I
Like,
wish
there
there
was,
I feel like Cartoon networks and things like that did that sort of thing more often, where they would just put up like an array of shorts from like
Yes.
a bunch of creators that they were eyeing or helped sponsor like the production of a first pilot or something like that. And then it would be like, well, the ones that are most popular will option for a full series and order some eps.
Yeah. Or like there used to be stuff like variety cartoon shows. Like an Animaniacs, where they would be like, oh, well, this segment has grown popular enough. Let's make it its own show.
Yeah.
But those would usually just be spin-off crews from the the crew that was already working that show.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I just thought that'd be cool. But anyway, yeah, that's it for me.
It's always weird to me to consider that like Batman the Animated Series was essentially a spin-off of Tiny Toons.
Yeah.
What?
A lot of crew from Tiny Toons.
Jumped ship to
VTS.
Yes. I mean, they're thematically very similar.
Yes.
I mean, there's
Absolutely.
bats and cats.
Batas?
And penguins.
Yeah.
And,
Hell yeah.
and-
Has anybody...
and crocodile men.
I'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. If you want to check out more other stuff we do, head on over to fugitiveframes.com, where we have links to everything we do, including our Would You Stay Tuned podcast, which we are hoping to ramp up again soon at some point.
We should make a podcast. Huh?
That has to exist. The podcast where they just talk.
I'm
yep,
sure
there
it
it
does.
is. There it is, right there.
I wanted to say something
About
Yeah.
pot?
before we go.
Oh yeah.
About Dean Cain? Or that piece of shit in the wheelchair?
I wanted to say, think about becoming a YouTube member.
Yeah.
Join,
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
We have some pretty fun stuff, and I wanted to say a nice hello to all of our Discord member community people that are on our Discord server. I don't know, what do you call them? People.
Yeah.
Discord
Yeah.
people.
Discord members.
Yeah,
Discord
our
members, our Tims. Hello. I love you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are really, I love the conversation. We have a really cool community on the Discord server. So if you want to check it out, think about becoming a member for $1.99 a month. Support us a little bit and see what's going on in the Discord server. You get episodes early. Lots of other fun things.
The episodes are also the early episodes are YouTube ad free.
Yeah.
So you can continue to watch the video version of the podcast ad free.
So nice.
It's my cat yelling at me to
Oh.
feed him because we're an hour late from feeding the cats, and my cats are about to like eat me right now. You're like,
All
what's that
right.
noise?
We'll wrap it up. Next
I
episode.
gotta go feed the cats.
Next episode, we're heading back to TNG
Back to Kelly.
with an episode titled "Ship in a Bottle."
Going back to back.
Ship in a bottle.
TNG.
All right.
TNG. I do want to say this before we go as my last parting words. You could call somebody a piece of shit and it'd be a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's like, forget about it. It's like, you piece of shit. If you say it with a
Yeah.
smile, you love it. You love them, you know? You piece of shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people would be asking you to call them that if they weren't already aware of this.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there for the new listeners, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true. Yeah, for sure.
So, hey, if you're in Texas, stay cool out there, man. It's hot.
Oh, yeah.
It is hot.
Yeah.
Everyone in general, it's hot everywhere.
It's hot everywhere.
Stay
It's
cool
hot
out
here
there,
too.
man.
Stay cool.
And if you're listening to this like years later, it's even hotter.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's probably really,
Yeah.
it's or really cold if we flip to the ice age, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
And
hot or cold.
last thing, go see And the Days.
You can't.
It's been a while. I should go see it.
dude.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.